Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. In this video we have something a little bit new for you, a mono blue team. Let's get into it. I start off with the Azelf and go with the rock because he goes right for the rock polish with the Rhyperior. On the next turn I go for the U-turn, uses the pivot into the Alola Ninetales, get the snow going, but unfortunately go down to one Stone Edge. This Rhyperior is starting to look like a problem, but thankfully we have the answer right here in Azumarill. He goes for the Earthquake, I'm able to tank that. I go for the Liquidation, take out the Rhyperior. On the next turn, my opponent then goes into the Ogre Pond. Fearing the Grass move, I switch into my Thundurus, but he ends up going for the Encore. Unfortunately for my opponent, he doesn't know I carry the Secret Tech Weather Ball. As he goes into his Garchomp, takes a little bit of damage, I go for the Weather Ball, take him out in one shot. While using this team, I was able to catch a lot of unfortunate Garchomp with that Weather Ball. My opponent then switches to the Shiny Metagross. I'm able to outspeed, go for the Thunderbolt, do some huge damage, and get the Lucky Para. My opponent retires with the Psychic Fangs, does huge damage, but Thundurus is just able to hang on. He goes for the Bullet Punch, thankfully gets the full Para as I clean him up with another Thunderbolt. But unfortunately my Thundurus goes down to the Life Orb. Off of the Double Down, I go back into my Azelf as my opponent goes into the Greninja. Knowing he could outspeed me, I then reveal my super secret tech with the Azelf, the Explosion. Take him out in one shot with the crit. I doubt that crit mattered. Off of the second Double Down, my opponent goes into the Ogre Pond as I go back into my Azumarill. Not liking this matchup, I immediately switch it to my Metagross as he goes for the Ivy Cudgel, which Metagross tanks no problem. On this next turn, I get a little bit greedy, but it ends up paying off. He goes for the knockoff, gets some good damage, gets rid of my lefties as I boost with the Hone Claws. On the next turn, he goes for another knockoff. Metagross is just able to hang on, go for the Meteor Mash, take him out. My opponent's last Pokemon is in the Fire Gator. I'm able to outspeed, connect with the Stone Edge, get some good damage. He retires with the Will-O-Wisp. Unfortunately, then we lose Metagross to the burn. I then bring in the Cleanup Clue, the Azumarill, go for the Aqua Jet, take out the Gator. Good game. Alrighty, let's get into game number 2. I start with the Azelf again, as my opponent starts off with the Hisui Goodra. I go for the same Stealth Rock start as last time, as my opponent reveals the Shelter Goodra. Unable to do much here, I go for the U-turn and uses the pivot into my Latios, as my opponent continues to use the Shelter. To be completely honest, this is the first time I've ever seen the move Shelter be used. Despite that, I fire up the Aura Sphere, gets some good damage, he eats the berry, gets the boost, retaliates with the Flash Cannon. On the next turn, my opponent goes for the Terra Water as I fire another Aura Sphere, do barely anything, as he goes for the Surf, does barely anything right back to me. With Goodra being a Water type, now I fire up the Luster Purge, gets some good damage, he goes for the Body Press, takes out my Latios. Coming in to avenge Latios, we now have Thundurus, as I'm able to outspeed, go for the Thunderbolt, take out the Goodra with the crit. My opponent's next Pokemon is in the Comfy, but unfortunately Thundurus is packing the Surprise Sludge Wave, as I'm able to take him out in one shot. After Thundurus' 2 KOs, my opponent goes into the Indeedee, gets hurt by the rocks, gets a Psychic Surge up. I'm able to outspeed, go for the Thunderbolt, do some huge damage, but Indeedee just hangs on. Goes for the Hyper Force, does some huge damage right back to Thundurus. I then fire off the second Thunderbolt, take out the Indeedee. Thundurus putting in some great work down in 3 different mons, but unfortunately that all comes to an end right here as it gets the Pro Synthesis boost with the Iron Moth, goes for the Fiery Dance, finally takes out my Thundurus. I then make a risky play going into the Azumarill. I know he has the Poison move, which he goes for right here. Azumarill just hangs on, go for the Liquidation, take out the Iron Moth. My opponent then goes into the Lucha Bird, who consumes the sea, gets a special defense boost. He's then able to outspeed, go for the Poison Jab, take out Azumarill. Seeing the rest of his team, I go into my Alola Ninetales as I can take out both of his mons. He goes for the Brick Break, gets some good damage with the crit. I fire up the Blizzard, take out the Hawlucha. My opponent's last Pokemon is in the Hydreigon, take some damage from the rocks. I'm able to outspeed, go for the Moonblast, take him out at one shot. Good game. Alrighty, and that's the video. Please let me know what you guys think down below and stay tuned for future content. Peace.